We're playing Destiny 1 because I want to have fun. You know, I feel like the recent years that I've
There's got to be a way to find out what the Hive are planning.
I'm waiting for the ghost to shut up.
We recovered a library in their fortress called the World's Grave. It's said to hold everything they know of Earth. If you can get us down there, I'll steal all I can.
Steal. There's a. I'm sorry. Damn. I'm gonna help that guy.
I can lead us to it, but you'll have to face me for the grave.
That is very loud. I did it. That's volume. I gotta physically do that. Recently, as I was doing some stuff for college and thinking about something, because I was burning myself out a bit too much, and I was being too productive. I was putting myself in the productive mindset. Like, I gotta be productive and all that jazz. And you know, it's weird to say I was truly thinking. Like, you could say, what do you mean, truly thinking? Like, when you think, you think. Like, oh, like this right here, where I think, I'm just gonna jump right here, from here, and see what happens. Like, I thought about that. Or if I'm ever doing something like moving a plant, I'm thinking about how I'm gonna move the plant. Or thinking how I'm gonna position myself that way I don't hurt my back. That sort of stuff. But when you truly think, when you engross yourself, oh my god, I'm missing so much. When you truly engross yourself in whatever you're doing, really ponder, like pondering, the thinking. I just wanted to say something funny, sorry. When you're truly thinking, it's like you're lost inside your own mind, your own cognition, as if you're walking inside the world that your brain just made for you to walk in. And what I think right now is that I'm not truly acting my age. Like, I'm not enjoying some stuff. I'm thinking things really, really far ahead. Like, really far. Oh. Come on. What is going on? I'm hearing conversation. And I'm not doing anything my age. I'm being too productive. I'm thinking about productivity. And that's the thing. I shouldn't really be doing that. I'm starting off college. I should prioritize. Alright, I made like an analogy for myself. Productivity and all that stuff can be a toxic mindset to constantly get into. I'm pretty sure a little bit of that of the thought that I was thinking about is this constant thing that our world has pushed on to younger generations about being productive, about constantly being productive, and because if you're not productive, you won't get anything done, which is awful, because that just tells you that that your entirety of what you should be thinking about is work. So I started thinking like that, and it's wrong. It's not right. So I started really thinking. Like, and I made up an analogy about a farmer, because you have to be present about what you do in life. I wanna do nothing. I just want to draw and do all this other stuff. I want to continue working on my hobbies. Unfortunately, I cannot do that. Though in the future I will work, because like I told you, I want to make a comic. I want to sell it to people. This great idea. And I have to work on that. But I was thinking about it a bit too. That was slick. In a very much not healthy way. I have to work on it, yes, but the way you work on it isn't by obsessing yourself over min-maxing productivity on it. That's not how you do it. Now I go to my farmer analogy. A farmer has things to do for the day to maintain his crops and everything. That's what he signed up for. But does the farmer min-max his day to obsessing over his farm, of doing this entire thing, of setting all these personal expectations of being productive with his farm? No. He does it, and then at the end of the day,
There's so much. They've broken the Bekenstein limit. Okay, I've got it all. There's unbelievable stuff in here. The Hive have seen thousands of worlds taken by the darkness, and they've been
Sorry, a family member came in and was talking about some good news. What the hell? Oh my god, I have too many spin metal. I was thinking about the farmer analogy. I'll use another analogy as well. Watt as a plus with it. The farmer, like, he doesn't mid-max his day and trying to do his farm, because not only do you have to wait for whatever you're doing, because the crops don't just grow like that, don't grow immediately. But there's times of his day where he does what he needs to do. I barely know any farming thing, so I'm very ignorant on everything, but I'm just gonna assume. For example, he has to... hold on. If he hasn't planted seeds or whatnot, he's gonna plant seeds. He's gonna get inside his tractor or whatnot, and he's gonna plant the seeds. And then he's gonna do the entire process. And after that, like, oh, he can't just mid-max everything for the seeds because he has to wait. But it's more like, what I'm trying to specifically say here is, he takes his time. After he does one thing, he goes back inside or does whatever, and drinks his coffee, or like drinks a cup of tea, has his little breakfast, his hearty meal. That shrimple. But he doesn't really go by and like maximizes his productivity for his farm. He wants it to be productive, he wants it to succeed, but he's not super obsessed with it. Or I'm gonna use another analogy. It's a cold winter day, and a man wakes up shivering. He's like, ooh, it's cold. I need to find a decent tree and cut it. Cut it into multiple logs that way don't have to sleep so in such a cold environment tonight. So as he wakes up and does his thing, he finds a tree. Except the thing he doesn't prioritize that entire day and like obsesses over the tree and how to perfectly do it, and the perfect tree, the perfect stacking. He doesn't maximize that productivity. He's just trying to find the tree. After he finds the tree, he's like, alright, I found the tree. I know where it is though. He might cut it down, or he might go to the creek and just like, okay, I'm gonna drink some water real quick. And just spends time thinking or doing whatever. And after he does that whatever, he goes by the creek again. And, not by the creek, to the tree again. Sorry, I don't know how I forgot it. He goes back to the tree and cuts it down. After that, he splits it up. He splits it into individual logs, and he lugs it how many he can carry without burning himself too much back to his house. Except in the middle of it, he's not just doing. If he does all, it's a big tree. It's a nice, decent tree. So when he cuts it down, the logs are heavy, and they're numerous because he has split them up. But what he does, he doesn't just do all of it do all the thing at once. What I mean, all of it at once, I mean, let's say he carries 3 logs and it takes him like a couple of minutes to go back home. These logs are kind of heavy. They take time. They take energy away from him. What he does, he doesn't just do 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 until the job is over. He does 3, 3, 3 Whew, that's quite tiring. I'm gonna take a couple of minutes. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna take a couple of minutes to for this. It's quite pretty out here. I'm thirsty. And he goes back to the creek, drinks some water, comes back and goes, "Alright, let's do it." And goes back to the tree and he does three, 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 three. And then he did it. And then, oh, okay. I put a nice little dent into this.
Collapse. Someday we'll reclaim this place, right?
I'm trying to think of a good location to talk about all this stuff. Oh, it looks very pretty. I love how this game looks. He does all that stuff. And he like talks about it. Not talks about it. And the dude just does it. And then after a bit, he goes, "Okay, I'm really hungry right now, so I'm just gonna stop this for a little bit. I'm gonna stop for a while." And I'm gonna go by the creek again. And he just catches a fish and does what he needs to do I don't know, to cook the fish and make it however he wants to. Cause okay, today I want some fish. And then he does a thing. Oh my god, it's empty. This Destiny day is literally allowing me to explain this perfectly. Let me turn off the HUD. HUD is off. Turn that crap off. Oh my god, this game is so pretty. As he does all this other stuff, and he eats his fish and everything, then he's like, alright, back to it. Alright, this is the final batch. If I carry a bit more, I can I can get all the logs back home. Then boom, he does it. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Bit heavier than usual, but it's worth it. And then he does it. He brings all the logs back home and he did what he needed to do for the day. But if you noticed, the thing about it is, he didn't do it all at once. He took time for himself and to do what he wanted to do. For example, I want to walk around and just take in the environment. And of course, he pushed himself at the end because, like, oh, if I do this like right now, I can finish right now. So he pushed himself a bit more to finish the job. So there is a bit of challenge that he did decide to do for himself. God, this game is so pretty. But the entire day wasn't dedicated to the logs, of lugging all those heavy logs back home. It wasn't just that. It was, I'm lugging the logs and also it took a bit of time. That's how I've been doing, and that's how I've been doing some stuff for like work that I do. Things that I personally do. Is that I would, it was either procrastinate, which isn't good. Sometimes you gotta do stuff. Or completely burn myself out on the thing. And the family that came in right now, they came in and told me, hey, because my sister is like in her last year of university. And it just says, hey, you're like the university just called and said that your sister's like in a really good position. Also, and also her phone broke, which is kind of funny. Oh my god, it's a creek. I just not noticed. It's like a little creek. Perfect for this, literally perfect. And she told me herself, like, dude, over the weekends I do nothing. I just relax, and I didn't think like that. I was thinking to work, work, work. But it's obvious that people can relax to, like, perfectly do something. To, to be good at something, but to also have time for themselves. To live life. There are some studies that show that, hey, taking time off for yourself can actually make productivity better, but in the words of that one guy that was talking about this thing specifically, that's a trap. Because it's just luring you back into productivity, into this mindset of productivity. But sometimes, like I was talking to you about about the man who needed to get logs back home, he took time off. He took time to enjoy the creek that was nearby. In this balance of life that I need to strive for, that I need to work for, is I need, because if the cabin man didn't get the logs back home, he would have been cold. But if the cabin man got the logs back home, but like he was super tired about doing it, and he was like completely burnt out on it, and is kind of afraid to start the cycle all over again and again and again, then that's another that life won't be as enjoyable. I have to get work done because, well, yeah, sometimes you gotta work. Sometimes you gotta get some stuff done. Sometimes you gotta get the logs back home. You don't want to do it, but hey, you gotta do it. But you don't need to completely focus on that part of it. You can just relax. Do what you want to do. I love walking, so I walk. I like the cold. I like drawing a lot. I want to do my job like that. But if I nurture this sort of feeling of uh time to, ooh time to get some stuff done, instead of nurturing this feeling where I always like praying and doing and begging for the next weekend to come, where like thank God it's the weekend, I'm gonna be so sad when I have to come back on Monday, because I'll get some of those feelings. Everyone has those feelings. No one wants to work sometimes. Instead of thinking, thank God the weekend is finally here, I'm not going to be excited when Sunday comes up because I'm going to be worried about the work that I have to do on Monday. Instead of nurturing that sort of productive mindset, instead is, what I can say is, whew, is like, as I'm doing this stuff on like Wednesday or whatnot, I can think, oh, I know what I want to do over the weekend. When I have a bit more, instead of being that thing, God, I'm praying, like being miserable that the weekend isn't here, I'll just think, oh, I just had an idea. When the weekend comes, I'm gonna do this thing in the morning. because that morning usually is occupied by occupied by some work that I have to do. But instead is, oh, I have an idea of what to do in the morning. Something fun. Where it's not about me obsessing over work or being worried about work. It's me finding the time, because I'm not going to remember all the stuff that I'm working. I'm not going to remember the studies. I'm going to remember these moments where I'm just like, damn, this is nice. No one's going to remember that. They remember the moments where they worked and they worked well and they worked true to what they were going to do. And, well, the Friday came in. That Saturday came in. That special Monday happened. That random Thursday appeared. And what I mean by that random Thursday, I mean oh damn, I went to this, I was really hungry, so I went to this cafe to work a bit. Holy crap, after an hour of studying or working there, I just closed my laptop, asked for a nice cup of joe, and just, what a nice time. For example, I know this cafe that I'm 100% planning to go to over the October. Mostly because I'm waiting for that moment to just like when all the special items in the cafe are Halloween themed, August, autumn themed, and the flavors of really good pumpkin comes in. I'm just waiting for those moments, that way that I can get my special curated items. But I'm gonna remember those moments as a moment where oh damn, I'm super happy that I got to, after work, after some random Wednesday that I just relaxed a bit in this nice cafe. And of course, the weekends, I'm just gonna be happy doing them because oh, I got time off. I get to do nothing. That's great. I'm happy. And sometimes in life, you have to, the person that needs to bring the logs into the log cabin has to sacrifice a little bit of his time. Has to make that sacrifice to be oh, I'm gonna eat my fish where I'm working on the logs, and then they'll get back to it. Sometimes you have to make those sacrifices, but you're gonna make them because oh hey, I'm working towards something, that way I can live a life that I want to. Which in my way, I'm trying to live a life where I can have a lot of moments where I can just work on myself, where I can just think, oh, I get to be useless in the best way possible. I get to do whatever the hell I want. I get to read a book. I get to draw more. Doesn't have to be what I'm working on. I can just draw just to have fun. There's when I was thinking about the messed up mindsets and everything, I remember I was being very nervous at college and everything. And I was talking to one of my teachers about it, and she said oh, just think about someone else who has it worse and how it's not that bad. And I was thinking, I don't like that. And she brought up her example, when I think I have it hard, I think about that one guy who doesn't have arms or legs, and how he has it worse, but at the end of the day, he has a family. I was like, I don't know about that. I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna be grateful for what I have. Actually think about the pros and cons of what's going on and just think, hey, you're okay. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it too much. I'm not going to think, oh, I'm having a hard time. I'm going to think about someone who has it worse. I think that one's awful. Like, that's a bad advice. I'm not going to tell anyone. If you feel like you're freaked out, you should think about these people who are like, have it awful. Like, some stuff that happened to them is awful. And think about, hey, it's not that bad. That's not happening to you. But then that would put you into a mindset like, oh, these people that did all this stuff, had it worse, and they're doing better than me. So even though I have more than them, I'm still worse off. Like, no, I think that's a bit too like toxic. I think it should just be like, oh, I'm okay. I'm not gonna have my life together at this age. But my dog's sleeping. I hear her snoring. I'm not gonna have my life together at this time, and that's okay. But I need to relax a bit more. Of course, not put my guard down. It's a sort of having past, present, and future, balancing it out perfectly. Because I was thinking about that yesterday as well as I was going out for a walk. It's insane how there's a lot of stuff that you have to think about, and you do it effortlessly. In time, you will do it effortlessly because in the present, you can't think about too much of the future because you got to worry about the present. I got to use another analogy here. You can't think you can't think about the train that's coming towards you. Let's say you're on a railroad track and it's a scenic view and you're on this railroad track. It's like relatively safe. Of course, you have to be cautious for trains, but you can feel it and you can hear it. You have to get past through this railroad track. So you hop on this railroad track and you start walking. And the thing about the railroad track is like, oh, the past, present, and future in your balance of them. You can't think too far ahead into the future and worry yourself to death about it. Worry yourself to death about the train that's going to come towards you. I was thinking about that as well with my college. I'm like, oh, I'm starting off university and everything. And I only have 4 years. Games like Destiny 1 took over 13 years to make. So 4 years isn't that much, but at the same time, that's an awful way to think about this. It's not much time, technically. It's not even half a decade. It's not 5 years. Maybe it will be 5 years because sometimes school loves to screw you over and take more money from you. But that's beside the point. We're not talking about that right now. You can't worry yourself to death about this train speeding like a bullet at any second from now. Or my future, my education, coming at me any second from now. Because I have to focus about what I'm doing right now. I have to focus on the months that I have to do. I have to focus on the tests that I have to study for. At the same time, I can't worry myself on all those tests. I have to worry a good amount of it. But to be sick and feel awful and burnt out about it is a no-go. I can't worry about the train that's speeding towards me. Because I'm standing still on the tracks. Because I'm not walking right now. But at the same time, I can't just be ignorant about what's going on. Because the train will hit me. I have to think a little bit ahead. But neither can I think, oh man, when I was when I was blank and blank this long time ago, man, these train treks truly were the greatest. And obsessed over this past thing because I haven't even gotten on the train track. I haven't even gotten there. So if obsessing over the past, that means you're not going towards the future and you're not doing the present. I haven't even hopped on these train tracks to walk to my destination. I will eventually do it, but it's going to take a lot more time. I can't be ignorant and oblivious to what's happening to me in the present, because if I stay ignorant and I don't focus on what might happen if I'm not cautious, then a train's going to hit me. But at the same time, I can't be worried about the train hitting me at any second from now, because I'll be aware of the situation, and I won't get anywhere in the train, and I won't get anywhere further in the train track because I'm so worried that any second from now, the train's gonna hit me, and then I'm not making any progress. So that balance of everything together will make sure that wherever I'm going in this train track, I'll make it to the end. Because I'll look around and everything. I'll be aware of the train's like patterns and everything because I've been walking through these train tracks. I'll be aware about the train that might come by looking behind me or looking in front of me, a bit ahead. But at the same time, I have to walk the track and enjoy it. And enjoy it a bit because there's like trees everywhere. It's lovely, actually. Now that I look at it, it's quite lovely how this path that I take. And that's the sort of balance I need to have. That's the sort of balance that you need to have. God damn. What the hell? It's beautiful. Then boom. I make it to the end of the train track by doing all those things, and would you look at that? The bakery. I made it to the bakery, and now I can have myself my pecan pie or pumpkin pie. And a cup of coffee with sea salt caramel added onto it. The sea salt caramel cup of coffee that I like. And boom, I'm living life. I am living life. Or, how about this? I got all my logs and everything. I did what I was supposed to do for the day. I was present and aware. I brought it back home. Now I feel like I want to have time for myself. So I go to a place that I know, and I have to cross these train tracks, follow these train tracks, because I know this place is at the end of these train tracks. As I'm being careful proceeding along this place, I find myself at the bakery. It's multiple parts of the story. Number one, of doing what I need to do because, well, I have to do it. But not obsessing over it. Number two, being present about life itself and in having the adequate amount of caution while also being in the now. While also using the knowledge you used from the past that you lived to make sure this place is a success. And at the end of it, I get to do nothing and just eat a pie. I'm not going to remember carrying the logs back home, or maybe even a quarter of or even half of the walk in the train track. I'm just gonna remember enjoying my time at the creek as I'm resting, looking around and enjoying the beautiful view that I see while on my way in this train track. And then at the end, of course I'm gonna remember arriving at the bakery and and eating a pie there. Of course I'm gonna remember that. And that's how you need to live your life. A great balance of all this stuff. Of course there's the added benefit of having friends and working on that and like relationships, family and all that stuff. But you can add that into the story. Like I'm carrying logs that way my family doesn't get cold. As I'm doing all this stuff, we eat together. As I do half of my job, I decide to rest up a bit and I eat with my family. Or I know my friends at the bakery, so I'm going over there, and when I get there, I'll be with them. Life is truly wonderful, bro. It's insane how massive your your mind can be. Because it's like, oh my god, all those thoughts and things like that. Why did I sound like I was gonna cry? My voice just cracked. All the stuff that you had to go through the day to live like that, you did that effortlessly. In time. In time, you'll do this effortlessly. And sometimes things happen, like, I don't know, you can't make ends meet, or stuff like that. You have to work a bit harder. The sun is harsher. The cold is colder, and it makes your hands feel numb. That's a part of life. Not everything's gonna be together. Not everything's gonna be perfect. You're not gonna have your life together just like that. It's never like that. You just have to live. You just have to live in it. And notice that it's just like that. You're never gonna have it all together. But it'll work out at the end because that's how life is. As long as you work hard, like you work hard and you push yourself to do things you want to do and not obsess over work and productivity and material value and truly work on your character as a person and live those moment to moment times in your life, you're going to be better off. Now look at me. I've been talking from dusk till dawn, literally. I kind of want to play Destiny, but I think I'm just going to end it here because I was talking. I was way too passionate about that talk. That's okay. Oh, this skybox is so pretty. Hold on, let me see here. ambition is a good is a good thing to have. But you know what? You know, sometimes you're not gonna believe me or anything like that unless I practice what I preach. So I'm gonna do what I said I would do. I'm gonna live those moment to moment lives. The moment to moment part of life. Wow, I made it all the way back here. Either way. That's it. Goodbye.